You're watching Oilers Nation every day with Tyler Yaremchuk. Your one-stop shop for all things Oilers.
The Oilers that were in Calgary looked good. The Flames that were in Calgary looked bad. The Flames that were in Edmonton looked good. The Oilers in Edmonton looked bad. Let's get into it with the lead. Good old split squad games. Leaves are on the ground. The weather's changing. Your windshield's got a little condensation on it when you start the car in the morning.
Wow.
Those are all signs that fall time is here.
I have a garage. No condensation for me.
Lucky heated
garage.
Heated?
Insulation.
And I still buy lunch. God damn. Welcome into Oilers Nation every day. Hope you all had a good weekend. The show comes to you live from the Sports Closet studio. Check them out online at sportscloset.ca. We are entering the best time of the sports calendar. So get fitted up, whether it's your favorite football, baseball, hockey team. Sports Closet's got you covered. The show's also a presentation of Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Tammy is in. One win, one loss. All entertainment. Dropped in $5 in the super chat. The YouTube chat, I should add, is brought to you by Nation Beer Everyday Lager. A crisp, clean lager crafted not just for game day, but for every day. Find one of their two locations, downtown or the Richie spot. You
There
want
it
that?
is.
No, you don't want that.
Not at this time of day.
Did you have a lot of beers this weekend?
I did.
Why?
I went on a bike ride
Ooh.
around Shore Park.
Like to different establishments or like beers
Yeah.
in the backpack and just
No,
made
like
some
different-
nature stops?
different establishments.
Okay.
Played credit card roulette when we got there, so you paid the bill.
That's always fun.
Never got me.
See, the whole night was free?
Got a free night. Yeah.
How many stops were there?
5.
And how many guys were there?
7.
Oh,
One of 2.
And if you paid once, were you out?
Yeah, if you paid
okay.
once, you were out.
That's a fun way to do it.
If you didn't pay, that would have been ruthless. But no, I didn't get caught, and the last one was a big boy. Because the way we were doing it was like we would buy 2 towers, then we just leave and go.
Okay.
But in the last one, they didn't have towers, and we just stayed there the rest of the time, and then we still did it at the end. And I was one of the final
How much was that last bill?
$240.
That's credit card roulette. That ain't for the faint of heart.
Yeah. So I missed out on that one. Thank
You're
goodness.
lucky they don't know you have a heated garage, or else they would have made you pay. I had a wedding on Saturday night.
Very nice.
Congratulations to Robert and Olivia, the Sullivans.
Robin Liv.
The
Sullivans, good name.
It's a great name. Great name. They got married at like the greenhouse in St. Albert. It was a beautiful ceremony.
Nice.
It was awesome. Night was good. Here's where my weekend took a little bit of a nasty turn, though. We all play beer league hockey and beer league soccer together. I'm terrible at soccer, by the way. I have no idea why I continue to play in this league.
Okay.
We had a game. We had hockey at noon and soccer at 3. And we were up until whatever in the morning at this wedding. Mm-hmm. We lost both games on a combined score of 13-2.
Wow.
What do you think? Guess. What do you think each one was?
Hockey, you can run it up a little bit more. So I'll say hockey was, let's say 8-2, and soccer was 5-0 or whatever.
9-1, 4-1.
Okay, I wasn't too far off.
And to make matters worse, we scored on our first shift of the hockey game.
Wow, feeling
But
good.
we only had 9 skaters, and 8 of them were hungover. 7 of them were hungover, and our goalie was hungover. So
not a recipe for success. I went
was an ugly one.
farming hungover yesterday.
Ooh.
I dug up potatoes. I was there for
a little bit of fresh air, though. That's it.
Oh, no.
No? Okay.
It was so hot. It was so hot. Just in the field all day. It was brutal. I must have dug up like 300 potatoes.
What are you doing with them?
Gonna eat them. I'll make a potato man.
The Edmonton Oilers played hockey on the weekend. We should probably begin the show by talking about that. Mm-hmm. Well, actually, you know what, Reese? Do we have pictures of the alternate jerseys? Did we grab those? We did get the full reveal from the Edmonton Oilers on their alternate jerseys for the upcoming year. So we'd seen the leak, obviously, a week ago. That led to a lot of speculation online. The Oilers did a very good job, I thought, introducing this thing. The video was neat. Matthias Ekholm was the one modeling it.
Uh-oh.
Was that weird to you?
It was weird, but at least it would have been weirder in a way if it was like Draisaitl instead of McDavid.
Yeah, like they very clear, but that...
Maybe he was just the only one in town.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, that could have really been it. They're like, we need to do this, and he is here.
Yeah, so you got a look at like the full actual uniform for these bad boys. And listen, when the leak came out, I was thumbs up on the leak. Like, I thought it looked nice. I like when they take chances without getting gimmicky. Like, Seattle did their glow-in-the-dark jerseys, and it's like, the game's not played in the dark. That's dumb to me. And sometimes teams get like a little bit too weird with this stuff. But I'm a fan of the word I used last week or whatever, faux back, like a fake looking throw. It's a fake throwback, a throwback looking jersey that's never actually been worn in the back. And I look at this and like the word mark is crisp. Cream is a unique, but we'll call it timeless color. Like, it's not done a lot in the NHL, but it's very sharp. The the shoulder striping and the piping on the jerseys is, again, like classic, but it's a little unique. Like, I like how the shoulders are like thick blue, thin orange. It kind of overlaps with the C. The only thing I don't love is the modernized font, because it doesn't really fit the faux back aesthetic. But all in all, like, looking at this jersey with the classic blue pants and gloves and all of that, I'm a big fan of these. And I think the people shitting on them just really wanted the team to roll out the copper and blues from 06 or do the McFarland jersey again. And like, it would be easy for the organization to vomit up something that they wore 20 years ago and sell a few 100,000 of them and be like, look what we did. Like, great. I like that they took a bit of a chance here, and I personally think it paid off. It's different, so people are going to hate it, but I think when you see them on the ice, you're going to love them. And again, cream, check. I love a nice, clean word mark, check. Has a little oil drop in there, all that. It's cool.
I think they really tried to appeal to a younger audience with this one.
Yeah, maybe.
And I appreciate that they did that. We all know when the moss pit is rolling in the playoffs, about half the crowd is wearing these. I'm
also very excited. Like, give me a cream hoodie with that logo on it.
Yeah,
give me a cream hat with that logo on it. Like, I think the merch will be fucking awesome with this.
The see them for the first time on October 28th. They'll wear them 8 times this season. October 28th against the Utah Mammoth.
The Mammoth, that is right.
So the Mammoths, you'll also see them wear their new home jerseys, I guess, at Rogers Place.
Well, yes, that's the other side of it, is that to wear these at home, you need to coordinate and see the other team in their darks, which I also think is cool. I think the NHL should do at halfway through the year, it flips and you wear lights at home.
I've always hated that.
Why?
Because I just think if you're at home, you should wear your home jersey. This is fine because it's an alternate and it's a special occasion. Again, you should just allow teams to pick what jersey they want to wear, as long as it doesn't clash. The flipping thing just always...
Yeah, that is a good point. You could just be more open with flipping, and then you don't need to worry about it.
We will see some iconic jerseys, though. The Blackhawks come through.
Yep.
That's it.
Oh, who else? Who else will the Oilers wear them against?
So, Seattle, Winnipeg, Calgary, Chicago.
But
it's an away game. Sorry, they have 2 away games in here. They'll wear them.
Oh, really?
Chicago and Nashville, they'll wear them on the road, back-to-back nights. And then the last one, is Minnesota.
If Winnipeg could wear their like Navy Heritage Classic alts, that'd be a sweet matchup.
Maybe they will. Maybe teams will... but maybe not on the road. I don't know. You should just be like NHL mode where you play a team, you pick the jersey you want.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
All right, we got a couple of things that I want to get to. Let's do exhibition games, then we'll talk a little McDavid as well. Our game recaps are brought to you by our friends at Greta, go-to party spot right in the heart of downtown Edmonton. They got arcade games. They have unbelievable food. The food part of this is listed last, but I would almost put it first because it's so good. Bar, great time. Again, still got some decent weather coming our way towards the end of September, so you can continue to enjoy their patio. Also, elite TV setup. That's a spot where you can go, request a couple different games on the TV, have 2-3 TVs right in front of you. It's that time of year with baseball playoffs, football underway, hockey just around the corner. Shout out to Greta. So the Oilers played the Flames. It was a split squad game. Edmonton had a team here. I think what's maybe more notable, like the Oilers rosters were, I mean, listen, missing the high-end talent, right? No Nuge. Obviously, no Hyman, he's hurt. No Connor, no Leon. Calgary's lineup in Calgary was actually pretty veteran-heavy.
They played, Kadri played, I think, right? Huberdeau.
Edmonton kind of split theirs. Like, Savoy was in one, Howard was in the other, right? You kind of had, like, the Kapanens and stuff in one, Frederick and Podkolzin in the other. Nurse and Wallman were down were playing in Edmonton. Like, the split, I thought, was good for the Oilers. It's the first preseason game. So, I don't think, like, I kind of had like a good and bad column that I was updating.
Okay.
I don't think there was a ton of bad for me. Like, I could watch that game and go, I don't think David Tomasek is an NHL centerman.
Okay.
And like, I don't view that as bad, even if it's, I suppose, a negative observation. I don't think he'll adjust to the speed quick enough to be a good fourth line center. I don't think he's the style of player that's a good fourth line center. Like, he's not going to penalty kill, so don't take away minutes from him at 5-on-5. Like, Tomasek is a top 9 winger for me, and that's like something I kind of pieced together in the last game. You know, a guy like Alec Regula was maybe a little bit slow getting up to speed, but like, he hasn't played a professional hockey game in like a year. So
yeah, this is his first game since his injury.
Yeah, so that's fine. Like, he's not going to look great. The Finnish defenseman, Atro Lepinen, I thought he had some really good moments. I thought he struggled on the defensive side of the puck at times, but like, that's fine. It's his first time playing professionally in North America. Like, that should be expected. Like, any kind of negative that I could kind of parse through was sort of met with like, there's a silver lining to that, or like a legitimate explanation, not excuse, an explanation for why that would be happening. So I didn't really see anything. There's no one bad to highlight for me from that first game.
At the end of the day, these split squad games aren't for the veteran guys, and that even counts for the guys coming over from Europe. It's to give your Tommy Lafreniere's, David Tomaseks, like Connor Clattenburg, whatever we're calling these guys, like the rookies, I guess, like an opportunity to go out and showcase themselves to the organization and to meet the quota of playing so many exhibition games at the end of the day. So, yeah, I don't think there's anything to take away that's anything too serious or not so serious. There's a few comments here and there from Knobloch, which I think should be taken into account. But, yeah, overall, they won one. What was the other one? Overtime, I think? Overtime loss? Yeah, so there you go.
No, 1-3-0 and lost in OT, yeah.
3 points?
3 out of the 4 points.
There you go, not bad.
Yeah, again, results are results. But
Howard played well, by all accounts. He was a much improved player, which I would say is an important thing. He skated a little later with the rookies and the rookie skates. Now he looks like he's a bit more up to speed. Had a good assist to Kapanen, I think it was in the Calgary game. So.
Yeah, a really nice little feed that kind of like, first off, started with him being in some good spots in the D zone. Play went up. He made a nice little kind of like sneak wrap play around a defender, I should say. Like, he kind of wrapped his hands around the defender and made the pass to Kapanen, who scored. Do we have that Kapanen goal? I think that might be actually one of the few we have a highlight of.
I saw actually just whilst Reese is grabbing the Lepinen stuff, someone compared him to John Klingberg. Guy worked out, good career.
Yeah, he had a good career. Here's this Howard assist. Like, again, just kind of pops it over. Good play by Kapanen. If he would have scored on a breakaway like that in Game 2 of the Cup Final, the Oilers probably win the Stanley Cup. I didn't need to bring that up. Why did I say that? That was dumb of me to say. Anyways, Ike Howard looked really good. And again, we cut him slack coming out of like the next gen prospects game because it was like, hey, he was at the NHLPA thing. He didn't skate a ton. Like, don't read too much into that. Him looking good against pros is like a good check. And you and I have been two people who are like, hey, we would not be gifting that guy a spot on our team on opening night. He has to go and earn it. More performances like that. Once the competition gets better, and I'd be willing to say Ike Howard has earned it. Thought Savoy was fine. He's playing with Podkolzin and Frederick, who are not good creators.
Could be line mates, though, and that could be a line at some point. I would not be surprised.
I don't know if Trent Frederick's a centerman.
I haven't made my decision yet.
I'm just starting to, and I haven't either, but like if this is kind of the meter and it's like, okay, winger here, centerman here, I'm kind of going more like.
I think they're going to play him as like a spot starter. Like, he'll play sometimes center, sometimes wing.
Yeah, like,
and so many players that can
and
play
give him
everywhere.
shifts in the preseason, sure, but like ultimately, I don't think those three can be aligned because I don't think Trent Frederick's a good enough centerman for that. I think if you maybe put him with better wingers, he could be, but even then, like, it's a pace thing with Frederick, and I just don't know if he has it down the middle of the ice. Noah Philp, I thought, had some pretty good moments. That's a guy who's fighting for that fourth line center spot. I thought Philp was better than Lazar, but that's not quite a linear comparison considering who they played with, because Lazar, I keep wanting to call him Lavoie for some reason, but that's because I'm thinking of Savoy,
preseason hero.
I saw a Golden Knights reporter go, Raphael Lavoie looks like one of the best players on the ice tonight.
No.
And I was like, oh, buddy, you're about to be duped. Anyways, Savoy was fine. Howard was good. Philp was good. Connor Clattenburg's making some fans. I know there was a comment in here that just kind of scrolled past, so I missed it, but saying that they liked him. He scored. I think he had another fight. Big hit. He's a guy who, like, it's not this year. Maybe it's at some point next year, but he has all the makings of like a fourth line right winger. You know what I mean? Like, comes up, hits some bodies. Like, for him, I think a big thing, and listen, this is something both Philp and Savoy did last year. Granted, totally different caliber of player and prospect here. But Philp and Savoy went down to Bakersfield last year, and it was a big thing of, like, you are going to learn how to penalty kill. And the two of them, by all reports, were two of the better penalty killers in Bakersfield. So if I'm Connor Clattenburg this year, and if I'm the Edmonton Oilers and thinking about how to handle Connor Clattenburg, I'm going, okay, this is a guy who can hit. This is a guy with like decent enough offensive instincts that I think he could maybe one day play NHL games.
Yeah.
You go teach that guy how to penalty kill, and he could have a career.
Yeah, it sounds like he's come as advertised, right? Like it's what he's doing right now seems to be what all the reports were coming into camp and through junior hockey. So yeah, if you can figure out a bit of special teams, and that just gives you a bit more ammo for yourself to make an NHL roster.
Totally. So Clattenburg good. Marhala, again, he's not going to factor into things this season, but I thought he was fine. The one guy who's now surprised me in both a preseason game and the next gen games, it's actually Quinn Hudson. Okay. And I know we, again, talking to Ellis and guys who are prospect guys, it's always like, hey, very limited upside here. Ellis kind of gave him the read, and I don't want to misquote him, but like the vibe I got was like, he's a tweener. He might just be a guy who's too good for the AHL, but not good enough for the NHL. And granted, last night was kind of a little AHL-ish in terms of who he was playing against, even though Calgary had a bit of a better roster. It wasn't great. But I don't know. I see some hands on Quinn Hudson. I see him making plays, and I'm like, maybe there's something there. Again, I don't think he breaks camp. Like James Hamblin played well too, but like he's not breaking camp with the Oilers.
Yeah, might be the same kind of player.
And they might be. They might be. Where like at the end of the day, Hudson will be a guy who comes up and plays whenever he gets his call-ups, goes down to Bakersfield, and you'll be like, damn, what a good player. And then he comes up and he's But anyways, I was encouraged with Quinn Hudson, wanted to give him some love.
Well, it's good. It's good to see. And I mean, like you said, we've talked about we're not really sure what he can be yet. I'm not a true believer in him, but hey, I hope I'm proven wrong. You want to see as many of these guys succeed as possible, and maybe he's the one that pushes through and defines the odds.
Yeah, maybe.
Which is good.
To wrap up this conversation, why do you want to hear from us when you can hear from Edmonton Oilers head coach Chris Knobloch? So we're going to get to some quotes, and our quotes are brought to you by the Alberta Teachers Association. Alberta spends the least per student on public education in Canada, leaving schools underfunded and in crisis. Overcrowded classrooms, unmet student needs, and dwindling supports are driving record number of teachers to leave the profession. As Albertans, we cannot ignore this neglect. Our children deserve better. It's time to act. Advocate for increased funding and demand answers from your local MLA. The future of education in Alberta depends on it. For more information, visit stoptheexcuses.ca. The first one we got is, we kind of started this conversation with a bit of talk about David Tomasek, who is the one unknown, call him wild card in this Oilers camp. Chris Knobloch spoke about him yesterday.
There's always a transition period for those guys coming over. Whether you're coming from junior, college, wherever it is, mostly it's the pace of play, and you don't have as much time to make plays. In Europe, it's also, you get the puck and you don't have as much time to make a play, but more importantly, probably not as much room, space to escape, to skate away from the pressure. Here, you feel a little bit of pressure and there's not as much room, and so just because of the ice surface. Tonight, you definitely could see that he had a shooter mentality. He had many opportunities, whether that was on the power play, wanting to shoot, get that puck on that. 5-on-5 early was really wanting to get the puck on that, and which is good because of the guys that we have on our team, or the last couple of years that I've seen, as he's probably one of the better shooters. So, more that he can shoot and put pucks on the net. Very few guys can score from distance, and I would say that probably the way he shoots, he can probably do that once in a while.
I have a thought, and I would like to relate it to you. You made a comment there being like he's one of the better shooters that he's had in the last few years on the team. It really leads you to believe they're going to give this guy a run in a top six role just to see if he can produce next to a Draisaitl or a McDavid or whoever else. Like maybe Nuge is a third-line center, and they just give him a go next to him. And I think they're willing to give him a long leash and see what he runs with. You said that you don't think he's a centerman in the NHL. He probably can't be on the Oilers, to be honest, too. So I like what he's done so far. He had a good chance yesterday and probably should have scored, but even he said himself, which we'll hear shortly, is like it is a bit different coming to the NHL from Europe.
Well, then before we get to the other Knobloch, can we get that David Tomasek one? Because he talked a little bit, like you said, about those changes, about shooting the puck and all that. So here's Tomasek.
Yeah, but when I'm looking at it now, I think eventually at the beginning I took some shots and maybe I could have held on to it a little bit just to touch or find it, but that was like getting used to the rink size and the speed. So eventually I think then you can, have some patience, put a wrist shot there. I didn't have to have a one-timer there or like a slap shot. But the one in the second period in the power play was a great pass. It got a little bit stopped by the defenseman in front and good save. Or I haven't seen it, but I kind of hit him too. So it's one of those. But on those you have to shoot it, obviously. Yeah.
We didn't really talk about this before, but also TV. We didn't talk about this before. His English is really good, and I don't want this to come off as poorly, but I do think like if you're trying to learn the game with a Connor or a Leon, like having good communication skills is really important. Like being comfortable with the language to ask questions to those guys, like again, important. I know hockey is a bit of a universal language in that sense, but when you're trying to gain chemistry with an elite player, like that'll work in his favor a lot. So Tomasek, again, we talked about him a ton. He's probably our most talked about name so far in our like training camp previews and training camp talk.
He's just such a wild card.
Yeah,
like he could be great, he could be terrible.
Yeah.
I hope he's great, or just somewhere not terrible.
Yeah. Before we get to the Knobloch on McDavid thing, there was a comment in here, and someone said, my hope for Connor Clattenburg was that he can be a Mason Marchment. And I think that's interesting because, like, Mason Marchment was undrafted. Mason Marchment coming out of the OHL, like, in his, what would have been his second last season there, so he would have been a 19-year-old. He had 8 goals in 54 games. Connor Clattenburg, the year before his draft year, had 9 goals in 30, he split time 13 goals in 60 games. So, like, he produced more, and then in their final year, Marchment had 20 goals, and Clattenburg had 16. So, like, their OHL production is, like, kind of weirdly similar. Mm-hmm. Obviously, Clattenburg, how he adjusts to the program will be, like, a really big thing. In his first full season in the AHL, What did Marchment do?
He played in the ECHL.
Yeah, he played in the ECHL, scored 14 goals in 35 games. That's what confused me for a second. Then he had 11 goals in 44 games in his first AHL season. But
championship team too.
Yeah. Another good example kind of in all of this is it took Mason Marchment 1, 2, 3 full pro hockey seasons until he was ready to go. Like that's the kind of development path we're looking at here. So for a guy like Clattenburg, and then, even for a guy or for an organization like the Oilers, like Marchment took a long time to get going. It took him 1, 2, 3 full pro seasons. Then he had the year where he got a cup of coffee, was sent back down, and then he was traded to the Panthers. Sometimes these guys don't flourish until their second organization. But if the Oilers recognize that they have something in Clattenburg, or again, learn how to penalty kill, become a good bottom 6 guy before you're a good middle 6 guy, which is what Marchment is. The fact that, even saying someone could be a Mason Marchment, that shit doesn't happen all that often. Like, he has way better numbers in the NHL than he ever had in any other level of hockey. Like, that's really rare.
He is kind of a unicorn in that way.
Which, like these guys pop up. It's not like they never happen, but it's unicorn. Yeah, it's rare.
Credit to Marchment as well. I remember when he came out of Florida, like, as a free agent, he was like, so the guy who was like, you weren't really sure yet. Yeah. Like, he had a great season, 18 goals, 54 games for the Panthers, almost 50 points. And then Dallas paid him. I was like, oh, that might be a bad deal. It's not a great deal, but he earned it. And now he's obviously on the Kraken as well now. So we'll see him a bit more often. But yeah, that'd be fantastic. My expectations for Clattenburg, I think he's just going to be a guy for the time being who fans are going to love. And every single time is a potential call. But should we call up Clattenburg? From the fan base. I don't know if the Oilers will think that.
Okay, the last thing we have for our quotes for the Alberta Teachers Association is Chris Knobloch on Connor McDavid's usage.
Mm-hmm. Last year he played 5. He was really wanting to get into more games. This time around, I would probably say a little less, whether that's 3 or 4 games.
Is that a back and forth thing, or is that just how it's going to be?
Well, you want to know the players, do they feel comfortable? Do they feel like they're ready to play? It's not that I'm saying you are absolutely playing 3 games and that's it. Some of our players, like, you don't know what's going to happen. Some guys might get banged up and you might need some extra bodies. So, I think we have it as 3 and 4, and that's probably it.
That makes sense. Again, Mula commented it, but next year when the preseason goes down to 3 or 4 games, it'll be really interesting because I think you'll probably actually see teams go to like a more competitive, like Edmonton will have a blue and white game. And they'll have like an intra-squad game, which will serve as like what this split squad game is. And then you will see a ton of cuts before I think even the first preseason game. Or you might see maybe they give some. No, you'll see a ton of cuts for the first preseason game and probably get a ton right after the first one.
It'd be good to see him bring back the Golden Bears game. Like the rookies play the Golden Bears.
Yeah, you could do that.
That would be fun.
Yeah.
Something a bit different. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It's gonna guys are gonna have to play a little bit more. Like not play more, but play more consistently, I guess. It's so interesting, isn't it, with the whole storyline of how the Oilers start a season. They always, like, we talked about it, like, one year they don't do anything, the next year they're, like, all dialed in, and now it's like they're trying to figure it out. And, like, you know, there's always the comments, like, 10 years into McDavid, and, like, you still don't know how to do this, and this. It's interesting that they're trying to balance out what to do, but he obviously has the Olympics this year as well.
Yeah. Again, I think we can't be losing our minds here over, like, a small sample, but, like, and again, I understand why you might be wanting to jump to this, but like Squishy says, Clattenburg is working hard to get into the NHL roster. And Based Ivy goes, I want to see Clattenburg play in the AHL first. Don't fast track him. We are talking about a 5th round pick here.
He might play in the ECHL.
Like, he might not make the Bakersfield Condors. That is a great point. He probably will with how well he's playing. But like, we are talking about a guy who is 2 years away from being an NHLer.
I would just like to ask those people, and I love the optimism with these guys.
Yeah.
Like people talking about Hudson as well. It's like, okay, it's not necessarily how good are they playing, but who are they beating? Like, who are they playing better than?
You got to take someone's job when you're in that spot.
Because we've talked about it so many times. They probably have like 15, 16 forwards. Like, a legit make the Oilers a shit.
Yep.
Like,
And
Max Jones is just a guy I've already written off. And he could come in and be the best player.
Has he even played in a game yet?
Yeah, exactly. He hasn't. So it's just stuff like that. It's like, okay, let's see these guys get going, and then we'll go from there. But it's good to see these guys doing well. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, and I do, like, Kleinberg's not even in the conversation, but if you want to go to like a Lane or a Quinn Hudson, for example, Dry, McDavid, Nuge, Frederick, Mangiapane, Henrique, Janmark, Kapanen, Tomasek, Podkolzin, Howard, Savoy, Lazar. We are 13 forwards deep.
Yeah.
Noah Philp, 14 forwards deep before we even get to those guys. So you're right. They need to play well.
Yeah.
There's playing well, and then there's playing better than like a legit veteran guy or someone with pedigree like a Howard or a Savoy.
No PTOs this year.
Good.
I agree.
Don't fucking waste the ice time on a guy you don't care about.
And they don't have spots again.
Yeah.
It's the first time in a while it feels like they've not had one guy. But a lot of veterans. It's good. It is good. Focus on your own players.
All right. We're going to be joined by David Quadrelli in a second, but I very quickly wanted to talk about, since we're on the McDavid thing, another quote from Elliot Friedman on the latest episode of 32 Thoughts.
Okay.
He said, if McDavid signs in Edmonton, if he does, it's going to be for a lower number than we all expect. I think it's going to surprise people where it could end up. So that is another thing that, I mean, listen, Friedman doing the doubling down on if he does scares me mildly.
Probably just doesn't want to put his name on the line for it.
I think that might be a part of it. But that has been another part of this sort of, or a line of thinking that we haven't discussed a lot, mainly because I've been slightly pessimistic at times.
Yeah.
But one angle is like, Connor is really mulling over how much of a discount he's willing to take and what the implications of that are. Like, it could have nothing to do with Edmonton. It could have nothing to do. He needs to go, all right, Stan, if I legitimately come in at 14 at Leon Draisaitl's number and we're doing this, whatever, what are you doing next summer? What are you doing with that extra money? Is Jake Wallman coming back? Yes. Okay. If we have that extra $2 million, does that allow us to run me through the free agent, Stan? Can we go from this guy to this guy if I take less? Because I think that helps us win. Let's look at the goalie, Stan. Can we go from this guy to this guy? Like, that might be part of the calculation.
And that's kind of like my thought on it most of the time has been like, I don't think it's him trying to make a decision if he wants to stay or go. It's based off numbers and term and everything like that. And it will just all come down to him. But I like what you said there. Like, what can we do with the extra money in free agency? And there's a lot of top guys on the market, but even the second layer, like Alex Tuck, for example, if he doesn't re-sign, like he'd be great here in Edmonton.
All right, let's get to, well, actually, before we get to quads then, let's do a super, super quick 60-second Sherwood Ford Giant question. Our friends at Sherwood Ford would like to tell you about their upcoming hockey event called Dealer Days at the dealership. It is Saturday, October 18th from 1 till 3 p.m. There will be ticket prizes for Ford and hockey fans of Edmonton, and we encourage you to bring a canned food donation to the charity food drive. Dealer Days at Sherwood Ford, Saturday, October 18th from 1 till 3. What is the lowest number you could see Connor taking? That's your giant question.
The lowest number, I think 14 is probably good. Dreisaitl's number.
Like, does he go dead on with Leon, or
What's
do you
he now?
think
12.5.
Yeah,
What if he just takes like an extra million?
he won't go less than Leon?
You don't think so?
No, I think
9.7.
I think 14.5 is actually the lowest. I think he'll sit there and go, hey, like, need to move the market here. I'm signing a year later. The cap's a bit higher. Like, that could at least give him the, whoa, I still signed for the highest AAV. Like, don't come at me, NHLPA, other players. Like, I still set the mark of what an elite player gets paid. It would still be lower than a lot of people want, but like Mistaken Mexican says 14/3. I don't think that's, just from reading that Friedman thing, that it could be lower than we expect. I'm taking that as, 14.5/3 is like the lowest I could see him taking.
Yeah, I'll stick with 14. I
Just
think this
dead
whole
on.
idea of like being like, I want to win in Edmonton and it's all about winning, like that would really be a statement of like, I am here to win. And 14 million is not cheap by any means,
Nope,
but he
still
is,
good.
anything's cheap for McDavid.
Yeah,
for
and
us.
like he's not taking 10. He's not doing something insane like that.
He would
14 and a
ruin
half
it.
is interesting.
He would ruin it for so many people. Like Kaprizov's probably like, holy fuck, man.
What
Come
are you
on.
doing? Well, he would just then, every other player who takes a lot of money, it would just lead to their fan base being like, what?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I like 14. I'll stick with that.
Is our boy Quads here? He is. All right, let's go. Star Mechanical Guest Line, Edmonton's #1 plumbing and heating company. You can find out more online by visiting them at starmechanical.ca, whether it's residential, commercial, or 24/7 emergency service. They do it all. They do it well at Star Mechanicals. We're joined by David Quadrelli, Canucks Army, the Nation Network. Oh, there he is. Quads, a married man. How are you doing?
Good. Happy to be part of the club.
I didn't hear him there. What'd you
No,
say,
what did you
Quads?
say, Quads?
Repeat it. No, you're good. It's
said
on our
good.
end.
Happy to be part of the club.
Do you find yourself fidgeting with the ring a lot?
Yes, actually, quite a bit. It's
Can't stop. It's the most addicting
I
thing.
like wearing it though. So I'm a big watch guy. Like I wear a watch like every day. It's gotten to that point where if I don't wear, well, like an Apple Watch, Tyler, relax. But when I don't wear a watch, I feel so weird. And then if I don't have a ring on now, I feel really weird. So it's gotten to that point where it's like I need to have it on.
Now, David Quadrelli with an ice out wrist joining us to talk a little Vancouver Canucks. Let's start with just their offseason. Because, again, I'm not bringing you on here to be like, oh, I'm going to be a Canucks hater and all this. But, like, I was confused by their summer. Like, you bring in Evander Kane, you don't do much down the middle. Am I right to be confused by that? Or was that summer more predictable to someone who follows the team closely?
No, I mean, how could it be predictable? Jim Rutherford came out at the end of the season, and the quote, the banging quote, Tyler, that we were talking about all offseason was, yeah, it's going to be expensive to go get another top 6 center, but it might be more expensive to not get one. And of course, what he means by that is it could be detrimental to their record in a year where it's no secret that they need to win a lot of games to convince Quinn Hughes to stay. He basically said as much himself. So that was kind of what Rutherford was saying. But then you guys saw the offseason, like which centers moved in the offseason. It wasn't just the Canucks that wanted to go out and get a center. It was tough to do business. And I know they tried really hard on Marco Rossi, but I think the asking price was just way, way too high for what they were willing to do. And again, that's with the understanding that Rutherford himself even acknowledged beforehand that it would be expensive. I don't think he was even guessing it would be as expensive as it turned out being. So yeah, they didn't make any moves when it came to that. Now, I think the landscape shifted, and what makes it a little hindsight 2020 here a little bit is that they go out and get Evander Kane. They take on that cap hit, but then they don't keep Pia Suter, who I think would have been more useful for this team, especially he ended up signing at 2 years, $4 million annually. I think if they knew how the landscape would shift in the offseason, they probably don't do the Kane trade and they just re-sign Pia Suter. But look, there's high hopes for Kane in Vancouver. What can he do on a top 6 line? People are very interested to find out. And what can he bring to this team's identity? People are excited about Kane, and I think they should be. But it's just one of those things where you thought it was going to be one way, and then the landscape just shifted in the league, I think.
Just on Kane quickly, let's piggyback off that. What are your expectations for him? Obviously, in Edmonton, he was pretty consistent, 20 goals, but there would definitely be stretches where it's like, he hasn't scored in 12 games. But now, like you said, if he's in a consistent, more top 6 role, like, what do you expect from Evander Kane this season in Vancouver?
Contract year.
Yeah, contract year. We keep bringing it up. What am I expecting from him? I have high hopes for him, but I don't know. He hasn't played in a year. He did okay in the playoffs. There were some flashes in the playoffs for sure. You hope that the contract year thing really brings out the best version of Evander Kane, but I mean, I know it's training camp and he's a vet, but man, I didn't look at him at training camp and go, oh, what a strong camp this guy's having. And I know it was only 3-4 days and hasn't played a preseason game yet, so I'm trying to reserve judgment. And Jeff Patterson made a really good point. We were talking about this. I think I'm being a little too critical of Kane. Jeff made a good point that with the style of play that Kane has, he's not going to be laying guys out in training camp. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I expect big things from Evander Kane, and so far I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm still in wait and see mode.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair. Another big guy or a big part of the conversation in Vancouver, like when we're mapping out a path to them being better next year, the conversation starts with Elias Pettersson, right?
Yes. Yeah, like Quinn Hughes, you know what you're going to get from him. He's going to be like a top 5 player in the league. Again, he's that's just what you're going to get from Quinn every year. Now, with Petey, basically what you're looking at is a guy who hasn't performed not just last year, but down the stretch. Like the second he signed that contract after the All-Star break in the 23-24 season, that was where it started to go downhill for Pettersson. And he hasn't done anything yet. Again, there's been a lot of talk about his preparation, which there shouldn't be for a player paid as highly as he is. But he did look really good at camp. Like, he did stand out. And again, when you're talking about star players, they don't usually stand out because it's a warm-up for them. They're not really playing for their NHL lives like a lot of guys in NHL training camps are. But he stood out. Like, he looks a step quicker. He looks like he has some of that mojo back, to the confidence to go through guys with his stick handling ability and with his skating. The interesting thing with Petey, I think heading into this year, is he was very eager to tell everybody that he put on over 13 pounds in the offseason. He had a longer offseason. Remember, he got injured at the tail end of the season. Obviously, the Canucks didn't make the playoffs. So he was really working on his training with basically since before the regular season actually ended. So he's had a lot of time. He's put on a bunch of weight. He definitely looks bigger too. That's the thing, is like, you know, you stand next to these guys, they're wearing their compression shirts and everything. And it's like, okay, like he looks like he's put on a good amount of muscle. So we'll see what it translates to for him. He says he feels stronger on the puck. A big thing for him recently has been falling down really easily, like in board battles. And he's got a really good stick, but you know, falling down when you get, when you initiate contact, it's not great. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of version you get from Pettersson. But yeah, that's kind of every time you have a conversation about the Canucks right now, it kind of always has that cloud over it of, okay, well, none of this matters if Elias Pettersson doesn't bounce back.
Let me ask you one that we got in our chat here from D. White, who said, seeing the Rangers make JT Miller their captain, do you still think it was the smart play to keep Pettersson?
Yeah, but this is the thing. People on the outside don't really quite understand that it wasn't ever Pettersson or Miller. I was in the camp that they should have traded both of them, but I digress. It really didn't come down to Pettersson or Miller, although it looks like that way from the outside. Without getting into it too much, that was just a relationship that wasn't going to work, and it became apparent last year. Yeah, I'm not going to go more into it, but it wasn't a Pettersson versus Miller thing. So I know, you know, the thing out here is once in a while you get someone who say they kept the wrong guy. It wasn't a Pettersson versus Miller thing, but I do want to say this about JT being named captain. I like JT Miller a lot. I don't think it's a bad choice because that Rangers team very clearly was trying to send the message to their players that, hey, what we had last year wasn't good enough. They get rid of Kreider. They get rid of Trouba. Again, leaders in that room. They bring in JT Miller. And when they bring in JT Miller, they talk about, we need his snarl. We need everything that he brings. Now to go ahead and make him captain, the big question I have for JT as captain this year is when things don't go well, and we've seen it in Vancouver, when things don't go well, you start to lose some of the Rick Tocchet used to call non-negotiables, the back checking, right? The just effort level all over the ice goes way down for JT. The frustration, the stick slamming, the swearing. And again, it's fine to be passionate and all that, but when it comes with not trying on the back check, I think that's the wrong message for a captain to send. And when things aren't going well, at least my opinion, we've all played competitive sports. You look to your captains, you look to your leaders when things aren't going well. And if your leader is just kind of throwing in the towel a bit, I don't know what kind of message that sends. So that's something we've seen in Vancouver. I'm not trying to badmouth JT here. I'm just saying that that's something we've seen in the past when he's had an A on his chest. Does it change when he has a C on his chest?
That's fair.
I think it's fair to say the Pacific Division is bad. It might be an understatement. What give us your predictions for the division quads. Who do you think who do you think the top 3 playoff teams will be, and where do you see the Canucks landing?
I've got Oilers 1, Vegas 2, Canucks 3, or wild card. Canucks have a chance of getting the second spot, I think. And obviously Vegas has a chance for 1 or 2, but I think there's a pretty clear 1 or 2 in this division with Edmonton and with Vegas. I have Edmonton ahead personally. But it'll be interesting to see what happens when they trade McDavid at the deadline. I'm joking. I'm joking. That I know. Sensitive topic on an Oilers show. I'm joking, of course. But no, I do have Edmonton ahead. I have Edmonton as the number 1 team in the division. I've got Vancouver as 3, but they have a chance of getting second. I would remind everybody that in 23-24, I was thinking the Canucks weren't a playoff team, and then they won the division. This is this group of players that they've had for years. This is a group that doesn't handle success well, but they handle being doubted fairly well. And a lot of people are doubting the Canucks right now. And again, this isn't supposed to be a compliment. This is just what we've seen. When people think, oh, this team isn't going to do anything, they tend to exceed expectations. And then the year after they exceed those expectations, then they just kind of come into the season with some sort of hubris, it looks like, and then they come far below what people are expecting of them. This is a year where people aren't expecting much from the Canucks. I expect them to be better than people think.
Why do you think they can jump the Kings? I guess that's my big question. I just see that Ross is I don't think the Kings are that bad.
One team has a better blue line.
But the forward group is such a question mark in Vancouver. In LA, it seems more locked in.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's very fair. I'm doing it with the expectation that you're getting the best version of Elias Pettersson and that the Canucks have the best or second best defenseman in the league. Not to mention, I'd say either the first or second best defense group in the Pacific Division. Again, we're also not really taking into account Thatcher Demko, it seems. That's a guy who is going to be a big X factor for them. He looked phenomenal in camp. And again, we're talking about trends. You can go look at Thatcher Demko's Hockey DB page. This is something people should just recognize about Demko. And if you're doing a fantasy draft, first of all, check out dailyfaceoff.com /draft-kit. But for Thatcher Demko, you see the years where he has to rehab an injury in the summer. He struggles during that following season, but a year where he gets hurt, but then has a full offseason to prepare, which is what happened this past offseason. He got healthy at the end, had a full offseason to prepare. Then he puts up like Vezina numbers. And again, this is a trend. This has happened twice each way. There's been 2 years where he's come off an injury and played like poo. And then there's been 2 years where he's had a full offseason to prepare and he's lights out. And this year coming up is a ladder year. So I'm looking at it and say, yeah, you're going to have the best goaltender in the Pacific Division. Again, a top 3 goalie in the league. I think that's what the Canucks are expecting this year. Now, managing his workload is going to be the big question heading into this year so that he doesn't get hurt right at the finish line like he did in 23-24. But that's why they signed Kevin Lankinen. That's why they held on to Kevin Lankinen. And with Lankinen, what we learned last year was you get the best version of him if you limit his starts as well. So I look at it being like a 55-45 split between those two guys. Percentages, of course. And I think you're going to have really good goaltending. So I think that's how I kind of look at the Canucks. And yeah, there's some question marks in the forward group, but this is a team that knows they're going to have to play some pretty defensive hockey.
Kind of answered my next question because, again, I think they'll thrive with that. I wanted to ask you, what's their strength, but you can't use the word if. And I think it's if, or it'll be the blue line is what we expect the blue line to be. One more just on the Pacific Division as a whole, if we're saying Edmonton and Vegas are kind of the locks and Vancouver's in a battle for that 3 spot, when you compare the Pacific to the Central, do you think there's 4 playoff teams in the Pacific, or is this another year where it's a 5-3 split?
That's a really good question. I haven't dove into it enough, but my initial reaction is yes, I think the Central Division has better teams. Utah's going to make the playoffs, I think. That should be the expectation for Utah. They were knocking on the door last year. They wouldn't go away, and now they got JJ Peterka. I expect big things from the Mammoth this year. I really do. So I would say they're a lock. Well, I shouldn't say lock.
They're in there though. Yeah.
Yeah. They're a team I'm looking at as being part of the playoff conversation. I don't know. Maybe this is crazy. I don't think the Flames are going to be in that conversation again. I think everything went right for them and they're still on track with, great contract for Dustin Wolf. I like a lot of the moves they made, but I don't think the Flames are going to take a step. I don't think Huberdeau's going to do what he did last year. I don't think Kadri's going to do what he did last year. And how much are those guys pushing from the bottom of the roster? How much are those guys going to take a step forward? Look, this is a team that's built around Dustin Wolf. I don't look at them necessarily as being like a playoff team. And I called them very early last year as being a playoff team, or at least in the conversation. But I'm a little lower on the Flames this year than I was last year.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Yeah, me too.
I have a hard time disagreeing with anything you're saying. David, appreciate your time. Thank you for bobbing on. Oh, there goes
See you,
David.
Quads.
See you, Quads. I'm sure he would have said something like, I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
McDavid signed in 8
Yeah,
years.
he would have given us a good McDavid prediction. That's probably what Quads would have done. But there you go, David Quadrelli on the Star Mechanical guest line. A couple more things to get through before we wrap up the show. Let's do a little What's Trending for our friends at Oodle Noodle.
Yeah,
the
let's take a
Oodle Noodle value menu deal allows you to add either 2 green onion cakes, 5 spring rolls, or wontons to your order for just $2. Any signature or premium box, find it at oodlenoodle.ca. 12:45, maybe a little bit too late for lunch for most of you. A lot of people probably listen to us while they eat lunch. Well, if they have to be they have to be here to get Oodle Noodle.
Right. They're only an
All right, what's trending? The CFL made an interesting announcement today, Liam.
They did. I didn't know. You informed me of this.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised you didn't know it was happening. I was thinking about it as I went to sleep last night. I'm like, boy, I wonder what the CFL is going to announce tomorrow. But it's actually, I think, really, really good for the league. They're going to make a handful of changes in 2026 and then a handful of changes in 2027 as well. In 2026, they are going to get rid of the Rouge as we know it. So the Rouge will still exist, but there will no longer be a point given for you kicking a field goal or a punt through the back of the end zone.
Rightfully so.
Yes.
The field goal one especially. The punt one I could always get behind a little bit because if you can boot it that far.
Yeah, but then you always get to the scenario in a tie game.
Yeah,
if you're on the
that's
10-yard line, you run the clock to 0 and then just punt it.
Yeah, what a sport.
I mean, I just didn't think it made sense. So the Rouge is being modified. A single point will only be awarded if a returner doesn't advance the ball out of the end zone after a punt, kickoff, or field goal.
I like that a lot.
That's good because, again, it puts pressure on the returner. The Rouge still exists. You hold on to that sort of tradition and something that makes it unique, whatever. The other one is that team benches must be on opposite sides of the field, which I think is only a thing in Toronto, but they're like, hey, don't do that anymore.
There should have just been a rule anyway. Like, the game's too intense.
They're also, the way the play clock works right now in the CFL is at the end of a play, the 20-second play clock doesn't start until everyone's set up and the ref whistles it in. Now it's just going to be an automatic 35-second play clock that starts at the conclusion of the preceding play, which I think is good.
Which I think, I agree. People seem to be that seems to be the most controversial change. I think that already happens anyway. That's why they've just added the 15 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably takes them 15 seconds to set up, then they have the 20 seconds anyway.
Yep.
Let's go for it. Speed up the game.
Totally. And then the big changes are going to come after next season, so 2027.
Except the Rouge. That's next season.
That's next season.
Yes.
So then these changes are coming in 2027.
Sorry.
These next ones I'm going to read. The goalposts will be moved to the back of the end zone. This is, again, not even something that I think makes the CFL unique. It makes it dumber. Like, no one is watching a CFL game being like, boy, how cool is it that the goalposts are right there?
Yeah. No.
You basically, and when you kind of like take a step back and go, oh yeah, it basically eliminates the ability to throw the ball to the middle of the end zone.
I never even thought about it until like you were talking about it before and like telling me all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, it's honestly a huge obstruction in the game.
Well, and people are like, how often does the ball even hit the uprights? That's pointless. Yeah, it doesn't hit the uprights because they don't throw the ball in the middle of the field. If you can throw the ball in the middle of the field, it makes sense. This next one was controversial for people. The field's going to be shortened from 110 yards to 100, but that I think is so that they have the infrastructure. They can just keep the goalposts, repaint the field, and they're good. Or they're still going to have to move the goalposts a little bit, but like I know that people love the 110-yard field. Our game, it's different. They're keeping the field extra wide. They're keeping all the pre-snap motion. Like a lot of things that still make the CFL unique are there. This is just making it easier to score offense, which is a good thing for the league. People want to watch football to watch offense, not punts.
No, certainly not punts.
So they're keeping the end zones large. They're still going to be the largest end zones in professional football.
Good.
It's just going to be a shorter field, still just as wide. The Rouges will be harder to get, but they'll still be there. End zones are going from 20 yards to 15 yards, so that universally across the league, all the end zones can actually be the same size, which isn't a thing right now. As
Again,
insane as that is.
I didn't even know that. It's good. I love all these changes. The one that you made the comment of when we were out there too is, and how often this happens is probably rare, but like when teams are pinned back on their own like 1 or 2 yard lines, the quarterback essentially can't throw the ball if he wanted to because he just backs up into the goalpost.
Yes. It basically meant you had to run the ball from your own goal line,
Yeah.
and like that's pointless. And then if you don't make it on 2 plays, you got to punt, but your
From your goal
punter
line.
is also obstructed by the goalpost. Like, yeah. Daryl says it's barely noticeable outside the red zone. Yes. And like, honestly, to bring it back to like the Oilers alternate jersey in a way, people bitch about this because they love bitching. Like, you are not going to watch a CFL game and be less entertained because of these changes.
No.
You will only be more. You are at no point ever going to be like, boy, do I ever miss
The goalpost.
the goalpost being in the middle of the end zone.
Yeah. I do like they're keeping the end zone still really big.
Yeah.
Because the ball is gigantic.
Yep. Someone said, go back to the Eskimos. Elks is dumb. Similar conversation. You're never going to go to an Elks game and be like, boy, that game wasn't as much fun because they weren't called the Eskimos.
They just weren't as fun because they were bad. Now
And-
they're good and it's fun.
Yeah, like again,
30,000 tickets already sold for the next home game against Saskatchewan.
I believe I'm going.
There you go.
Making my debut at Commonwealth.
Oh, that's going to be great.
Put me in. Lost a rec game.
Look out for those
8-1.
field goals.
Yeah. How far, if I said I'm going to line up 3 footballs to kick a field goal.
Okay.
You got to make 2 or 3 of them. What distance do you think you could go back to? What's the max distance for you? We could actually probably make this happen.
I think I could. If I was being optimistic, I could probably make a 40-yarder if I really put
You think
my
you can
foot
make a
through.
40-yarder?
Yeah, I think I could make I will say like the furthest one I could do is 35.
How many attempts do you think till you would make a 50-yarder, or the leg's not even close to there? You can kick a soccer ball so well, though.
I can, but the ball is different. But and the problem is too, in soccer, like it doesn't always have to go straight when I kick it. Like I kick it with quite a curve, so like that'd be the most difficult part for me. I'd be willing to find out. I think I can kick at least a 35-yarder. I go like 25, 35, 40. See what I do. What do you think you could do?
Well, I'm wondering if there's maybe a way we could do some sort of a challenge here.
Okay, sure.
Like if we put footballs on like the 10, the 20, the 30, the 40, and the 50, or like, that's all it's going to be. You got to make 1 from the 10, 1 from the 20, 1 from the 30, 1 from the 40, 1 from the 50.
Okay.
What's an equivalent? Because I know I can't kick.
Yeah.
But could we do something where like I'm throwing and I need to hit like a target from 10, 20, 30, and 40?
That's probably a good idea. Because I can't really throw. Yeah, that's fun. Well, think about that.
Yeah, we could probably talk to someone here who's involved at Oilersnation, and maybe we could.
Yeah, we could. Whoa, get on the field.
Yeah, that's
Can
what I
they not
mean.
be there?
Get on the field.
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'd love to punt a ball. I've always been curious. I've never really everyone's gone out and tried to kick a field goal before for fun, but like, I've never thought about like how far can I punt it. I think I could get a good like 50-yarder if I got my foot through it. I think.
Maybe we'll try and make it a challenge.
Give it a go.
All right.
Sign me.
I mean, the show's going back up to 5 days a week right away, so our time to do this is slim.
Limited. We have literally a week.
Should we make a fun announcement to the people about our show next year?
Yeah.
Or do we want to wait for that until we can like announce more guests?
Okay, let's wait.
We'll wait. We have a fun announcement about the show next year that I think you're all going to like.
It's 24 hours to do it. I don't think I could. Do you think it'd be harder to? You would know. Like,
You would eventually nail a 50-yarder.
Yeah, I think it would be a lot easier for me.
But
to
it
do
also-
rather than your hole in one.
Yes.
Yes.
It's also one of those things, though, to an extent of like, if you got out there and you gave it a couple good boots and didn't get it there, you know very early on if you can or can't do it.
Yeah, that's
right. Like
true.
a hole in one, I could continually take shots and like get it close and whatever. But like if you just don't have the leg for 50 yards, you don't have it. Like you could put me there for 50 hours or for 24 hours. I know I'm not getting it because I don't have the leg for it.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's find out.
All right. Let's talk, since we're on the topic of other sports, let's talk a little MLB playoff action. The Toronto Blue Jays are going back to the postseason. I do think it's very funny the amount of people who constantly shit on Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro. They have made the playoffs in 4 of their 6 years in charge, I believe, or 4 of the last
Really?
6 years. Yeah.
They just always felt so underwhelming, didn't they? I think that was the problem.
Yeah, and
I mean,
that's
I
fair.
don't know a lot about it, but it just always seemed like, damn, this feels like it should be better.
This year, they're not underwhelming. Their bats are cold right now, but that stuff sort of ebbs and flows. They have clinched a playoff spot. They got to pop their champagne and party it up in the clubhouse, which I absolutely love. It's a 162-game grind in Major League Baseball. When you clinch a playoff spot and there's fewer, you got to play more games for fewer playoff spots than in any other sport.
That's true. I never thought of it like that.
It's a legitimate accomplishment to make the MLB playoffs. The Jays are first in their division. They are 2 games up on the New York Yankees, but they hold the tiebreaker. So it is not enough for the Yankees to just catch them. The Yankees need to pass them. There are 6 games to go. Today's almost a totally blank day in Major League Baseball. There's only 3 games. And then every team begins their final series, or most teams begin their final series on Tuesday. Jays go 3 against the Red Sox in Toronto, and then they wrap up with 3 against Tampa Bay in Toronto. They have 6 home games.
Okay, that's good.
If they go 3-3, the only way the New York Yankees catch them is if they go 6-0.
And they play the White Sox in Baltimore. Which
That's
isn't
not
ideal.
They could go 6-0. So
But I
the
think they're
Jays
on the road.
The
No,
Jays
they're home.
can clinch the division with 4 wins in their final 6 games.
Okay, I'm a believer.
Totally possible.
Believer.
The other thing too is holding on to the one of the top 2 spots in the American League, so you get the bye through the first round. They are well clear. They're 3 games clear of Seattle for that one, so doing pretty good there. Oh, they're also 5 games clear of the Detroit Tigers now, which brings me
off, right?
That brings me to my next point. The Tigers have lost 6 in a row.
Oh, I'm seeing that now.
The Cleveland Guardians just had their winning streak snapped. There was a point 10 games ago, the Guardians were 9 games back of the Tigers. Ooh. The Guardians have gone 9-1 at the exact same time the Tigers have gone 1-9.
Oh, shit.
It's a 1-game difference. They begin a series tomorrow.
I was going to say, then they play each other now. Like you said, in their last 10 games, the Guardians are 9-1. Last 10 games, so the Tigers 1-9.
In the middle of August, which was, again, we're talking a month ago, I'll find the date here, actually. I can go beginning of August.
I was going to say, while you look for that, if you want some reassurance on the Blue Jays, they are 50-25 at home this season.
So good at home.
So good.
Halfway, it's crazy to see what the Guardians have done, though. On the last day of August, the Cleveland Guardians were 10.5 games back of the Detroit Tigers.
Wow.
They began September 10.5 games back. It's a 1-game difference. It's crazy, man.
Let's go,
It is
Eric.
crazy.
Did he have a good week? Series last out? Do you know?
So he gave his scoreless streak ended in the game yesterday. He gave up 1 run. I think it was an earned run. He pitched 1 1/3, gave up 1 hit, 1 run, struck out 1. So
Okay.
I think the earned run came when he already left the game too. So I think it was Hunter Gaddis pitched after him and just didn't clean it up. But that's fine. That happens. That's baseball. But yeah, Guardians and Jays both potentially in the playoffs.
Cleveland do they still have quite a few Canadian players? Because that was a thing for them for a while. Right? Naylor, I think?
Yeah, just Bo Naylor, Josh Naylor. Oh no, I think both Naylors are gone now.
Oh, so just Eric holding down the fort.
Cade Smith is one of their relievers. He's still there. Sorry, Bo Naylor's still with the Guardians. Gotcha. So they still have 3 Canadians, which is good. And you know what? I know I'm getting like a little bit asking for a lot. I would love it if the Guardians could get in as the 2 seed, because then them and the Jays wouldn't have to play round 1 or 2. And that would just be very satisfying for me on a personal level. I don't know how I would handle a Guardians Jays playoff series.
How crazy would it be if they both made it to the AL championship game, and that would be Eric's first game in Toronto because he was injured when he came up last time?
I couldn't handle it. I couldn't handle it. I mean, like,
that
I
would
want
be a lot. Yeah,
if I could choose which one gets a World Series ring,
Toronto.
I think I want Eric to get a World Series ring.
Wow.
Which is why I'm like, I spent all, but like, I think I want Eric to get his World Series ring. So it would kill me because like I've been a Jays fan forever, but like, come on, he's been on our show. We would get him to. He would get to come on our show as a World Series champion.
Yeah, that would be cool.
That would be sick.
First guy to do it on the show.
Exactly.
Do we have any? We had Mark Messier.
We had Mark Messier on. He's won a few things. Yeah. Okay, we'll wrap up with NFL talk for Bet365. Download the app today. Use the promo code NATION. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. We are officially 0-3 on our parlay. Packers lost to the Browns, eliminating everyone from their survivor pools.
Probably.
Yeah.
Unless you picked Atlanta to beat Carolina, and they also eliminated you.
You were high on Atlanta, and I don't trust the Falcons as far as I can tell.
I didn't expect them to lose 30-0.
Crazy.
That was bad. The fact Kirk Cousins that's coming to the game just shows you where Michael Penix was at. Yep. So yeah, I'm down on Atlanta now. Too bad. They were excited. They weren't. I don't know. They got a lot of pieces. I like their defense. I thought they were doing pretty good, and then Kyle Pitts looks like he was finally getting thrown to, and all of a sudden it just all fell apart. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. No points.
No points. Our parlay went 0-3. Packers -7.5. Bucks -6.5. That was a heartbreaker.
Both of them.
I know. Chargers Broncos over 46 was also an L.
Yeah.
I think
that
it finished
was
at
close,
43.
Yeah, I did 23-20 last second.
So our parlay is 0-3.
Japanese kicker. Have you
really?
noticed all this now? It's like Olympics are coming, and now all these guys are like, "Oh, I'm Japanese."
Yeah,
Yeah, this is like they all just want to go to the Olympics, which will make it fun for flag football.
Totally. All right, we were 0-3 on our NFL parlay. It was a crazy NFL weekend, though.
Yeah, it was a tough one. Lions play tonight. Ravens Monday Night Football.
How you feeling as a Lions fan?
Well, this will really tell us who they are. They played the Packers. They sucked. They played the Bears. They dominated them. Are they what Houston are every year, where they just beat bad teams and lose to good ones? Or are they a good team? It's going to be tough. And then we played them a couple of years ago, and they kicked the crap out of us. I think it'll be a lot closer. I think they'll be fine.
It'll be close. I don't mind the over.
Yeah, I do too. 53.5 is a lot. But the Lions give up a ton of points. Capable of scoring a ton. Also, I think the Ravens are missing Kyle Hamilton and Humphreys. Marlon Humphreys is also out for the Ravens. So maybe.
Missing a couple,
Key pieces.
If you were to go +4.5 and the over, it's +290. I don't hate that. Like, it's a close, high-scoring game.
Yeah, I would even tease the Lions up to maybe a touchdown if you can.
Yeah, if you're putting them in a same gamer, that's probably not a bad play. I like Jared Goff to go like over 250. Maybe not
What's
quite.
these 2 touchdowns?
Ooh, quarterback. Passing touchdowns. 2 passing touchdowns, -125.
I like that.
Both QBs to go 2+ passing TDs is +155. That's almost like a safer way to take the over.
Yeah, that is a good way to do it.
Yeah.
I like that.
Okay. There you go. That's a little bit of betting talk for you. Shout out to our friends at Bet365. Is that it?
Yeah, I'm good. Back on Wednesday. Will we have another preview?
I think we're doing fantasy hockey preview Wednesday.
Okay,
with Brock.
lovely. Well
So
done.
we'll have Brock get your fantasy hockey questions ready for us, and that'll be fun. New episode of Real Life dropping later on this afternoon as well.
Awesome.
There you go. That is a wrap on today's edition of Oilers Nation Every Day. We will see you all right back here on Wednesday. Oil up.